Welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into the link between education and politics in poorer countries. This is about how a lack of education can send a whole country spiraling. We're talking about places where kids are more likely to encounter a crocodile in their classroom than a qualified teacher. So, buckle up, because we're about to unravel this tangled mess and expose how inadequate education isn't just a symptom of poverty. It's a driving force keeping these nations stuck in a cycle they desperately need to escape.
Imagine walking into a voting booth and the ballot looks like it was written in ancient Sumerian. They lack the basic civic knowledge to understand what they're voting for, let alone hold their elected officials accountable. Without education as a shield, it's easy for these populations to fall prey to misinformation, propaganda, and political trickery. The result? A system where corrupt leaders and ineffective policies thrive, all because a large chunk of the population is stuck playing political blind man's bluff.
Now let's talk about those lovely folks in charge. When a population lacks education, their ability to hold these leaders accountable withers faster than a houseplant under my care. Without a foundation of knowledge, citizens can't effectively advocate for transparency, good governance, or even basic competence. This creates a breeding ground for corruption, where public funds disappear faster than a plate of cookies at a Weight Watchers meeting.
Now, let's talk about everyone's favorite topic, money, or rather, the lack thereof. When a country's education system is stuck in the Stone Age, it produces a workforce that's about as equipped for the modern job market as a pigeon trying to file taxes. Without a steady influx of foreign investment, industries struggle to grow, and the economy stagnates like a week-old cup of coffee. And guess who gets left holding the bag? That's right, the very people trapped in this vicious cycle of poverty, with little hope of climbing out.
Chapter 4. The Domino Effect. Health and Social Outcomes. Education isn't just about reading, writing, and arithmetic. It's also about knowing that eating dirt is generally frowned upon, and that maybe, just maybe, washing your hands after handling raw chicken is a good idea. A lack of education, particularly health education, leads to some pretty dire consequences. We're talking higher rates of preventable diseases, infant mortality soaring, and life expectancies that make a mayfly look like a Methuselah. Without it, people are left vulnerable to exploitation, misinformation, and a whole host of preventable problems.
Chapter 5. Divided we fall. When a large segment of the population is denied a quality education, it creates a chasm wider than the Grand Canyon between the haves and the have-nots. This inequality breeds resentment, mistrust, and a whole lot of social unrest. No matter how much you shake things up, they'll always separate, creating a breeding ground for conflict and instability. Without education as a tool for empowerment, marginalized communities are left even more vulnerable to discrimination, exploitation, and being perpetually stuck on the wrong side of that ever-widening chasm.
Chapter 6. Passing the buck and the burden. The consequences of inadequate education don't just disappear with the next generation. When children grow up without access to quality education, they're less likely to break free from the shackles of poverty. They're more likely to struggle economically, face limited opportunities, and their children are then more likely to suffer the same fate. This cycle is the very definition of unsustainable. It's a slow-burning crisis that demands immediate attention, not just from governments and policymakers, but from every single one of us.
Outro: breaking the cycle, investing in education. Tackling this issue is about as easy as teaching a cat to play the ukulele. Investing in education isn't just some charitable act, it's an investment in our collective future. It's about empowering individuals, strengthening societies, and creating a world where everyone, regardless of where they're born, has the chance to reach their full potential. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content.